Here's why punishment and bribes don't work and why they're especially dumb for children. We accept inner responsibility for a behavior that we have taken personal responsibility to decide to take an action on. The key is getting the person you want to persuade to take inner responsibility for their actions. When we think we have chosen to do something in the absence of strong outside pressures, we are much more likely to do it. A large monetary reward might work for a temporary period of time, and a punishment might work, but it only works when the authoritarian figure is there and present to enforce the behavior. It gets immediate compliance, but it doesn't get long-term commitment. They did this study on children and observed when they were told not to play with a toy and said there would be a punishment. When the authoritarian figure was there to punish the child, the children were adherent. But when the researcher left the room, the children 6 weeks later, 75% of them approximately were playing with the toy that they were originally told they would be punished for because the authoritarian figure was no longer there to enforce the punishment. Yet something very different happened when the other group of children were told that it was wrong to play with the toy. 6 weeks later, 75% of them approximately adopted not to play with the toy that they told was wrong to play with, whereas before, 75% of the children who would be punished for it when the authoritarian figure left would be playing with it. Yet it flipped when the researcher said to the children that it was wrong to play with the toy. Why would this be? The threat had not taught the boys that operating the toy was wrong, only that it was unwise and that punishment would exist if they did so. The influence on their behavior came from an external pressure, whereas the influence on the behavior of the other children that were told it was wrong came from an internal pressure to take personal responsibility and have some autonomy over their own decision-making. If you want long-term commitment from your clients, your children, your friends, your spouse, you need to get them invested into making their own autonomous decision. If you want your children not to lie, would it be better to punish them for lying? Hopefully you know the answer to that now. The child needs to believe it is wrong to lie. For some, appealing to ethics and morals will work. For others, appearing to social influence will work and saying how disappointed you will be if they do X, Y behavior. This is why bribes and threats don't work for long-term commitment and why the person themselves needs to be in control of the decision-making in order to perform long-term behavior change.